It is the president of your party and the deputy. How does the EFF respond?
Well, Xoli, you know, in a way, we're just tired of having to say the same thing about this. Every time somebody speaks, it's blown up as if something new has come up. Now, the latest, of course, is this Matotsi affidavit. Now, the most important thing about that is that actually nothing new comes out of that affidavit, nothing at all. If anything, that affidavit contains information which absolves the persons that you have liberally said that they've been fingered. Because Matotsi says, remember in the previous, all the previous reports, Mutao and Daily Maverick and all that, it was said that these were monies that were paid to the persons that you've mentioned. Matotsi now says, no, this was a donation to the EFF, not to the persons that you are mentioning. And he says that he had of course he does say that he had a meeting with them, but he specifically says that it was a donation to the EFF. So there are three things that need to be separated. One is, let's call it the Zuma loan, because he says that what sparked this whole thing was because the EFF was criticizing the Zuma loan publicly, and it was damaging to the organization. So he felt that he needed to meet. Now, that's very normal. I can tell you, I've been in the corporate world. I've been a so-called corporate affairs and stakeholder management. I've even been a CEO. That's what happens. If your company, someone is talking about it, you either go yourself, if you're a CEO, or send your corporate affairs people to explain, as he says in the affidavit. So he says he went to explain the Zuma loan, and that's why he had the meeting. Now, it turns out that he says at that meeting, he also said, look, our constituencies are the same, and offered, this is very important, offered a donation himself. Now, you might want to say, well, why would he offer a donation? The answer is that companies offered donations. We've just had now an election where tens and tens of millions were given to political parties. And then, of course, he then says that this donation, which he offered, was then paid over, or there was this arrangement that there must be a bank account and so on. Now, if you compare that to, for example, what he says happened with the ANC and the SACP. Now, he says those parties solicited or asked for donations, unlike the case of the EFF, where he says he offered it himself because of the coincidence of constituencies. I can't remember the exact wording in the affidavit. So the point I'm making, Paul, is simply this. This Matotsi affidavit, if anything, sheds better light as to who the beneficiaries are and who they were not. Yeah. Because we were told earlier, no, this one bought Nando's and all that with VBS money and so on. Now, the man makes it clear that there were these donations. And to the extent that he says that they used vehicles and all that, that's what happens. I mean, if I do a deal with you, I can use any vehicle. That's how the money, the CR17 money was channeled.
All right. So before I move to Mr. Tebogo Kaz,
yeah,
just for the record,
right,
there is no denial this time that the EFF party did receive funds from VBS.
No, there's never been a denial of that. That's why I'm saying there's nothing new. There's always been there are two. Okay, I was saying there are three things. The third thing is the loan, and that's what has always been in the public domain. Now, so you must separate what he calls a donation, which is what happens to political parties.